Hi, welcome to Monday Night Chat. I can't remember what episode this is, but it doesn't matter. We have a different format today. We're going to do a special segment called Meet the Councillors. So this is a new thing to try to bring the community together a bit more. And we're going to have a special section called Hot Topics. And then lastly, the reliable Q&A. But first, let me bring in my officers. Okay, joining us today will be my three officers, Dashini and Bala and Serene. Hi, guys.
Hi, boss. It's episode number 149.
149, okay, episode
Yeah.
149. So we had how long was this break? Bala, was it 2 weeks or 3 weeks? We had a 2 or 3
2
week break. Yeah, I mean, I was just exhausted. Most of us are. And we've been doing a lot of this. The end of the flood campaign welfare system, that took a long time to do. So it was quite good that it all coincided with Chinese New Year. So my blood pressure is way lower. It's a good thing. And I'm sleeping about 6-7 hours today. Nowadays it's better than my last 4 to 5 hours. So generally all is good. But without further ado, let's start our new segment. Just for everybody's knowledge, the three officers and I have been sitting around, and they've been coming up with new ideas to try to reinvigorate or re-establish or rewrite, revamp the Monday Night Chat. And one of the key points is that we thought it would be important to introduce other people, because every week people get bored looking at me. So there are a lot of community heroes that we have. So Bala, Serene, explain to people what they can expect in the upcoming Monday Night Chats.
Okay, so basically we're going to be bringing in guests every other week, and this for tonight we'll start with Jen, our local councillor for USJ. Then what we can expect for this next week onwards, we'll be bringing in youth speakers, try to have a conversation with our boss YB and their opinions on matters and everything. And then we'll have a guest speaker as well on the third week, and then that's what you can expect, and you'll just have to wait and see.
So basically we're going to rotate between local government, right? We're going to bring some youth people, whether they're from Mahasiswa or whatever, and then we're going to bring back our reliable guests, the MPs and possibly even Aduns in the future, right? So without much delay, let's start off with the new segment called Meet the Councillors. Okay, hi Jen, how are you?
Hi, YB.
Good. Okay,
Yeah.
Jen, very first question I want to ask you. I can't really pronounce your name properly. Do you pronounce it as Uyin or Uyin? How do you pronounce your name properly?
Jen. Then
Jen?
the last one is Yin.
Yun, is it?
Yeah.
So you don't pronounce the Uyin, right? Yun, right?
No.
Yeah, because I've never asked you. We only know you as Jen. Okay. So joining us today are two other community leaders, right? So we've decided to invite CIMB, So can we bring CIMB in? And yeah. Okay. Hi CIMB, how are you?
Good? Hi YB, fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. And we also bring in a younger community leader, Fias, okay?
Hi everyone.
Good. Now CIMB is very modest. If you take off his hat, he's actually botak.
Okay lah, show lah.
Show lah. Okay. So the news of why we've invited Jen is because it's quite simple. Jen has been a councillor for a few years. So I'll let Jen explain, and I'll invite all of them to just have an opening line just to explain themselves. If they want to disclose their age, they can. They can also talk about their profession and whatever experience up to them lah. Let's start with Jen. Jen, tell us something about you. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, YB. Okay, I'm Jen, MPSJ councillor and also chairwoman for Zone 3.
Okay. Yeah, Jen. And how do you get into politics or into local government?
Into local government, from a complainant to a person that receiving complaints for 8 years.
So you've been a councillor for how long, Jen?
Councillors for 3.5.
3.5, and before that, what were you doing?
Well, before that, I was assistant to YB Hana for 5 years.
Okay.
As well as a PA to a councillor, Mr. Pui, and also under Ken.
Okay. So you've had 8 years experience before that, right?
Yeah.
And before that, as you said earlier, you were a major complainant. I heard that you complained a lot. That is why, from my conversation with Hannah many years ago, she said they decided to ask you, since you complain so much, you become a councillor. Is that right? That's the real story, isn't it?
That's how I can understand from complainant points perspective.
I see. Okay, good. Okay, let's invite over the handsome fellow, the botak fellow, Singham. Yeah, Singham, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, YB. Good evening, YB. Right, my
evening.
name is Singham. Basically, I'm living in UAJ 11/3, whereby currently I'm holding the position of chairman for Resident Association, as well as the Kawasan Rukun Tetangga, YB.
Okay,
Right.
good.
This is my my third term holding the post.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and then my profession is doing my own business. Basically, I'm in the education line for past 10 years. I'm running a tuition center, and also, involving in some recycling projects recently.
Okay, that's very good. Very good.
And also,
okay.
I'm basically active in the schools, whereby I'm in the PIBG for third term as well as a YDP in SK UAJ 12.
Okay, fantastic, Singham. I've known him for a long time, and Jen also, since I was elected in when was I elected? 2013.
2013.
Yeah.
Maybe
now
can
let's,
I just
please,
continue small? Okay, maybe
Yeah,
basically, it's my passion to be community to do community work, but frankly speaking, I don't like politics. But when I met you, especially you, YB Hannah, and my boss Jen, I decided to work along because I can see the sincerity on three of you. That is my main reason I can still continue doing my my services.
Well, that's very kind words for you, but I'm in politics, and I can tell you it's horrible. But at the local government level, where we deal with the community, we depend highly on people like you, Singham, and also Jen, and this is the time for us to introduce Fias. And Fias is the youngest member. He is half botak lah. He's not fully botak, right? Fias, introduce yourself a bit.
Okay, right. Hi everyone. Hi, YB. My name is Fias, but everyone call me Fias. Some people call me Nan, and some people call me Aznan, but I most probably known as Fias. Finance, account receivable, work in the private sector. So I was actively involved in my RA. So actually, when I started, because I was active with my during my university days. I was active with involved. Then start getting involved my then I had there's one auntie and one uncle, and then started to join them and see do to for the better Sumaya so that we can change.
Okay, Fias, unfortunately, your line is quite bad. Yeah. So if you can just focus on it a little bit. I'm just going to ask you one or two questions so we get clarity, right? So you've just joined us, and Jen and Singham can help a bit. You joined us when? About 2-3 years ago, is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, it's about 2 years. Yeah, it's COVID.
During COVID time, just before COVID, right? Yeah, just before COVID.
No, it should be 4 years, yes?
No, 2018.
2018. Oh, after the election. Right? Okay. Fias, unfortunately, your sound is very bad, so we may have to drop you off the line if it doesn't improve. But let's just focus on, Singham and Jen first, and I will ask the officer behind to try and fix your connection if possible. Yeah? Okay? So Kevin out there and also Dashini, try and fix his line while I have a conversation with Singham and Jen a bit more. Okay? Okay. First thing, congratulations for your zone. Your zone 3, right? In MBSJ, correct? And recently, you guys won the award for 2021, the best zone. Yeah. Is this your very first award, Jen?
The
This is our third award.
Since 2013, right, Single?
This is your third award, right? Where you came top,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So every year when we attend this kind of thing, there's usually only 3 potential winners, right now. Yeah. And that is zone 3, zone 4, and zone 1. Yeah. It's always one of you guys who win it. Correct? Yeah. So let me ask this question, and this is open to both Singham and Jen. What's the secret of winning 2021 award? What did you guys do?
YB, I think first of all for us, right, it's very glad that we just do only. So in the whole year round, whatever we do, we just enjoy, and then we just do what is needed by the community, and then how to help the people in need. So it's like we all of us in one team, we have the same passions. That's how we can continue to do it in the past for so many years that none of them feel tired. We didn't do it for the purpose of getting the award. I think that is the important part lah.
Okay, so let me ask you, what exactly does the councillor do, or the zone 3? What do they do? What's your typical activity?
Single?
YB.
Yeah.
Oh, you're asking me, is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
basically, what councillor's job is to handle the problem, the complaints that she receives, but she will go beyond that, lah. Sometimes, not only about the complaint. Before the complaint reach to her, she will solve the problem. And then we will do programs like Gotong Royong, Basmi Tikos, and then all kind of education program, Project Angkat, and then with low-cost houses and so on.
So your job is really focused on community level, right? Yeah. So that's why you're linked
100% community programs.
Yeah. So that's different from us. Parliamentarians were looking at national and international issues, and then the aduns, which in our place, Fias is back again. Good. Yeah. So in the community level, you guys are at the front line, right? So let me ask. Let's try Fias' phone and see whether his connection is okay now. Fias, can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved in 2018 to become a community leader representing the youth? Yeah. Can you try your line? Yeah.
How I started to get involved with my community. First of all, it started from my neighbor. My neighbor just got dengue, and then his wife just passed away because of dengue. So we started to initiate a program to search and destroy for dengue. So then we start to get over. We are together, but it seems that a lot of conflicts that rise in our RE, so we split. So from there, after passing away of my neighbor, we get back each other, and then after we, of course, without Jen and team, we could not get. I mean, we could not get back together like after years during my dad's time.
Okay, so basically, it's a personal tragedy that sort of inspired you to join the community work, right? Looking at dengue in particular, right? Okay. First, unfortunately, your line is still very bad. We might have to drop you. Yeah. So I'm just gonna So, but anyway, thanks for coming. We'll try and incorporate you for another one in the future, maybe as a youth leader to talk about community work. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully, we would have fixed your connectivity problem. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's go back to Jen. Yeah, Jen, can you just give people a sense of your duties? What do you do like Monday to Friday, and then the weekends, what do you do? Yeah, what happens? Yeah, as a councillor.
Okay, I think there are some is we can pre-plan. pre-plan is like MPSJ meeting, MPSJ any discussion in MPSJs and officials events or besides that, we will also have I will go and meet community during the weekday as well to discuss things arising in their own place in their respective area, and also monitoring we also have to monitor the surroundings lah. Like as public, they always think that our job is to make sure that their place is all clean. So we also okay. I feel that is the first step that we have to achieve lah. Before we talk about what are the other big dreams that we're going to achieve, and of course there are a lot of ad hoc things that happen. So last minute things that happen, for example, like the recent one when people see beggars on the street, when people see homeless on the street, they'll call if they, and I think anything, we are very glad, even though our phone ringing non-stop, but it's good that at least in here, resident they has a number where they know who they can look, that the number that they can call, not just me, but they also can call all the community leaders like like Singham, like Shah, Asman, all. So many times, right, when we have a system that is very set up, so we can see the whole thing move very smooth.
I see. Okay. Can you just tell us which area in Subang that you are looking after?
USJ 7 to USJ 22.
Okay, and roughly how many people are there? Like 50,000, 20,000, 30,000? Do you have any idea? It should be about 30,000, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So quite a lot of tamans, yeah, that you look after.
Yeah, mostly landed properties, lah.
Okay. And Singham is really one of the key community leaders, right, Singham? Yeah. So Singham, I'm going to ask you some question now. What is the strangest thing that people have complained about? You can tell us.
Even people see there is a small dead rat on the road, also they'll be calling you again.
Really?
Yes.
They call you. So what is your procedure after that?
There are people like that, but we can't say anything much because for them, something that to be cleared as soon as possible. But you see, like if you compare our area from other places like Shalam, where I came from, like Taman Sri Muda, it's like totally different. People don't bother. But whereby in Subang Jaya, they can't see anything wrong. If anything goes wrong, they will communicate to the correct person. Any simple things they will call you. Any sampah, they see sampah here and there, they will call you. Hey, how come this one MPJ didn't sapu or whatever it is, Small minor things also they will call. But if you ask me, the responsibility that they have to be an eye and ears is actually good for everyone.
You're right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, that one is something special about Subang Jaya, right?
Yes.
It is very middle class. Some people say they complain a lot, yeah, and they're very particular, but then it shows that they are very concerned about their community,
Yes.
And we're thankful to have all of you being at the front line doing this kind of thing. Now Singham was, of course, he talked about Taman Sri Muda, right? Yeah.
Yes, YB.
You become a famous viral superstar lately because you are the one who came up there, who talked about that gate, right? That water levy gate, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So
YB,
tell us about what were you doing then? What was really going on?
Actually, basically, YB, my parents still staying in Taman Sri Muda. Right on the 18, when the flood started on the 18 on that day, I managed to save my parents, both of them, from Taman Sri Muda and brought back to Subang Jaya USJ. Right. By the time it's already 11:30, I managed to leave within about 10 to 15 minutes. Just after that, the water rise up. Okay, so after I brought them back here, and then I back again to Taman Sri Muda and we try to see, how to help them. And then Jen managed to get some of the NGOs where they provide boat, to send food and so on. What happened was after the fourth day, YB, water already subside. I mean, the river level water is already gone down, you see. But water inside the housing area is not going out. It's not going out. So what I did, I went to the dam, I mean, the Kunci Air side. Then I saw the water still is not going out. It's not flowing out, you see. Then only I realized they didn't open the thing. So I just did a video and sent to my friend. Actually, I told them this is the problem. The water can't go out from our housing area. You know, then someone took it and then put it in TikTok.
Yeah,
That's how it's
it went
become.
viral. Yeah, everywhere I saw
Yes.
it. Also, I said, hey, I know this guy. I looked at it, right? But since then, they've been continuous argument of whether the thing was broken or not broken. We are not exactly sure what is going on.
Mhm.
But Taman Sri Muda is a case of, I would say, bad planning. Yeah, there were a lot
Yes.
of allegation that the land was built below, should have been much higher, right? So whatever it is, the at the national level, I have seen the ministers in charge. We were at the National Recovery Council meeting to discuss this matter, and in fact, we went to Parliament to debate this issue. The responsibility actually falls on both sides, both the local government, the state government, and also the federal government. So it's a collapse of I would say, political problem. The fact that they were not, they didn't put aside the political issue to try and resolve the issue faster. I think there was lack of resources and lack of coordination. But at the ground level, you guys were at the front line, and you had to experience all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's go back to Zone 3. Jen, can you just tell us now, very quickly, before COVID, what are your typical programs that you do? And during COVID, what were you guys doing? Yeah.
Okay. Actually, every month when we plan our programs, right, we try to cover every sector, and for the residents here, like we'll cover for health, we do gotong royong, we do free health check, blood donation drive, safety like Ronda with police, bomba program, tree planting. We try to cover as many like variety of program, including sports, children's program and all. But when started March 2020, that is where COVID hit us. So we have stopped our program for nearly, I think, 2 months. Then thereafter, we are discussing among ourselves that this is going to take longer. So what are we going to move forward? Are we going to just stop all the programs? But after that, we see the needs coming when YB also called us, right? That how are we going to help out all the flats area all? So with the allocation from YB, we start to find a new objective that we have to focus on for the coming years during pandemic, which is helping those families in need.
Yeah. So it was food.
Yeah.
You guys ran a lot of food program, right?
Yeah, food program and helping the farmers, helping the fishermen. Yeah.
I see. Okay, yeah. For us, that was very strange because when the COVID started, we just lost power in Putrajaya.
Yeah.
It was just after Sheraton moved. So our budget was slashed 97%. We had no money to give any of you. Prior to that, I think we used to give to the councillors enough money to spend on yourself, somewhere between 20 to 40,000 a year, in addition to your own spending, right?
Yeah.
So, but we also ran a different approach. At the national level, we decided to use not really to go down on the ground to give food. We sent people shopping vouchers. That was we were funded by a Buddhist association that's not connected to me. They just contacted us out of the blue one day. Yeah. But since then, we have our funds reinstated to us in October last year. So this year we're going to focus a lot more on community spending. Yeah, except we had that flood issue, and my Taman Kinrara 1 and 2 was badly affected. So we have diverted about 400,000 to help the flood victims. So this year, for the councillors, we are still giving you all around 20,000 of projects to do, and another 20,000 of empowerment programs. I will explain that later. We'll get into a call with you all later. Yeah. Okay. So we will give you another 5 more minutes. Singham, I want to ask you some basic question. Yeah.
Yes,
As a
YB.
community leader, you already been doing this for 8-10 years, right? Not as you said,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
And you said that you're motivated by the fact that I mean, you guys won that big award. That's good motivation, right? Yeah.
Mm.
Now, what do you see the future challenges? Are the young people getting involved? I mean, we're lucky to have Fias there, like young people getting involved. And how is the, is there continuity? How long do you think you see yourself doing this? Is there? I suppose you look like you're in your 40s, right? Yeah,
30s,
correct.
YB.
30s. sorry. 30s. Are you sure?
45, YB.
Then don't lie to me, lah, brother. Yeah. So, like, do you think that what will happen to the community if the young people don't get involved? Do you see that as a problem?
Definitely yes, YB. But then, if let's say we have a correct team with the correct leader, I think there shouldn't be any problem, YB. For example, you see, even in MPP, YB, MPP, we do have about 14 members, Jen? Yeah, you see, YB, even we in MPP, we have 14 members, but we do have other NGOs, other contributors who always come and join us, YB, even though they are not MPP members, because they can see what we are doing actually. There's a reason we can still go ahead with the team that we have. Sometimes I believe that the leader play the main role over here, maybe. And
Okay.
so
And then,
I don't think so any problem, any challenge that we face, as long we do something good, I don't think so people can't follow us.
yeah, and you're lucky to have a leader like Jen, lah.
Definitely yes, YB. No, I mean, I will say yes 100%. In order to do all this, if your leader can't listen to you, if she have her own agenda, I don't think so we can follow. For
Absolutely.
this for almost 10 years, maybe.
Yeah. So I think it's very important. The most important thing I learned, at least from observing what you all do, right,
yes,
is that you must have integrity and you have to be
exactly,
honest.
YB.
It's not enough that you work like a dog. All of you work so hard, right now. But
Yes.
ultimately, your decisions have to be thinking about the greater good and to avoid corrupt practices, because there are allegations of corruption in every council that we know about, local government, awards, contract, all those kind of things. I'm happy to say, as far as I know, yeah, in our those 10 councils in our area, there are a couple of them with problem. I know, but they're not from your side. Yeah. So, I've been having complaints about people racketeering, asking for protection money, all sort of funny things. I've been hearing as well. I've been telling the police to take action, that there's no political cover-up, no political protection. But I'm so happy that I'm working with a few of you who are absolutely honest in running your association, right? Running your zone. Okay. Now I'm going to give the last words to Jen. And again, to congratulate all of you, Zone 3, for winning a fantastic, top award, top zone. Jen, would you like to say something to the rest of your team and try to motivate them or to thank them? This is your space. I'm going to give you 2-3 minutes. Say whatever you want to say. I think you have a long list to thank people. Yeah. Okay, Jen, the floor is yours.
Then not only say, ask.
Ask.
YB received already.
Oh, is it? Oh,
no, what? No. YB get the message.
Oh,
No, just joking. On behalf of MPP Zone 3, we would like to thank to all the community leaders, MPP members that have been with us in the past until now, and also for the time that is coming, and also to YB Wong Chen, also to YB Michelle, Adan Subangjaya, and also to MBSJ, to all the government agencies like police, Bomba. It's because of all of the support from every agencies and everyone, and around us, and also the residents that around us, that that we can continue to do and move forwards. For example, like our Kebun community, we can just talk about climate change. We can talk about urban farming. But if there is no people that who have the interest and put it into action, then it will just end up become a policy that is not work. So many people, they are asking about why. What is the role of MPSJ here? So YB, I would like to take this time to share with others, right? It is not just about rubbish and longkang. I think we have to look at a bigger picture, that what is the city that we want to live in. So that's what I always like to share with residents when they come to us, that I hope one day that we do not need our cleaners to keep sweeping the same street every day. Then we can have other resources to go and spend to make the city better, that we can look into livable city, sustainable city. And if you wanted to have a place like Singapore, to have a place like other Asian country or Western country that we look forward to, I think re-educating ourselves is the key point here.
Very good.
Thanks for
Yeah. Excellent.
Okay.
This is really good. Because at the national level, my office, we focus a lot on climate change issue, and we're looking at carbon trading and carbon tax, right? But I remember the former Mayor Noraini. Yeah, I mean, I got along with her. Some people didn't, but that's besides the point. Yeah, but she started the SDG program for Subang Jaya, right?
Yeah.
And this is the thing. It's not enough that the councillors do their best to make sure that streets are clean and all that kind of thing are done, and that we catch tikus and all this. But we really do have to put in national and international policies on climate change to be converted into actual local government activity. Yeah. So I'm very happy that you at least recognize what is the real challenge, not just trying to be as clean as Singapore, but to go the next step and try to create a sustainable living for your community. Yeah. And hopefully, people like CIMB will continue to serve us, and with cleaner air, better lifestyle, maybe there might be a miracle that CIMB might get his hair back. God knows. Right? Yeah. Okay. But thank you so much. And of course, Fias, it's unfortunate his line is quite bad. Yeah. Maybe we'll have to try and sort him out and try and bring him back. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us. This is our inaugural Meet the Councillors program. So Jen, thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you.
Singham, bye. Yeah.
Okay, Baby. Thank you so much, Baby.
Thank you, guys. Okay, now we're coming into our next topic, which is hot topics. So, Kevin, you're gonna hit a button for the transition or not? Okay, let's bring back the officers. Okay, so in this segment, I'm not just gonna be talking about the hot topics. Hot topics are picked by the officers themselves. Since they pick the topic, they'll be talking at least 30-40% of the time, if not half. Okay, so what's the first hot topic for today? Who's going first?
Maybe I can start. Oh,
okay.
You want to go?
First. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So I actually wanted to talk about the cashless welfare scheme that was introduced by KPWKM, the Kementerian Pembangunan Wanita dan Wanita Keluarga dan Masyarakat. So they started the pilot test for this cashless aid system, which I think was a really great idea to begin with. It's called JKM Pay for their welfare system. So all recipients would get a card as opposed to them having to, go and get the money and then spend it. So it would be directly accessible to them through the card. The issue is, although the trial started or the pilot test started in April 2021, they're trying to expand the program now, but it's facing quite a bit of resistance because there's a lot of caveats to this program and how it's run. So one of the biggest caveats is that the shops that the individuals on welfare are able to use their cards at are those that are registered with Bank Islam Malaysia. So that's one caveat. The second one is that you can only buy items that are on an approved list. So that would mean if you wanted to perhaps pay your bills, or you wanted to pay your rent with the money that was on your JKM Pay card, you wouldn't be able to do that the way that you would with a regular credit card or a debit card. So you're very limited in what you're able to spend or how you're able to spend your money, which of course brought in the question of why is it, poor people or people with disabilities are not given the space and grace to be able to make financial decisions by themselves, manage their finances, and be treated with that dignity. And the other thing is that only 50% of their aid that they are entitled to comes on this JKM Pay card, which means essentially they still do have to go through the process of, getting the other 50% in other means and, having to get it out of the bank or anything like that. And only 50% would come directly to their card. So that's a lot of caveats to a program that should be simplified. It's meant to assist people with disabilities to make life easier. So what are your thoughts, boss?
Okay, so a typical program, a policy, generally, we're talking at a theoretical level.
Mhm.
When you're looking at policy, you have to think about implementation, right? What I teach you guys in the office is, of course, to look at the problem, solution, and then the budget, and then the implementation. We're now at the stage of implementation. So when anybody or any government agency want to transition from one system to another, they need to have a trial period. Yeah. So I think they're going through trial period. What is faulty with this trial period is they have to go 100%. So if, say, a typical poor person under B40 is entitled to kebajikan, that kebajikan say $300, it should go through all the entire $300 should go through the card system. Then you can get the proper test. What they're doing is they're doing 150 on the card, and then 150 you still get the money back into your account, right? That is not a trial system. So what they should do is they should trial for a year, 6 months rollout, 6 months feedback, and then you got a few months to tweak it. Yeah. Once you tweak it, then in the year 2 you roll out. So what I think your issue is they haven't thought through the process of implementation transition.
Yes.
So,
and to their credit, they're actually looking into tweaking the program now because they have had quite a lot of backlash and quite a lot of resistance to the JKM Pay system. They're looking into it. They've come up with a comment, I think, a day ago. The deputy minister. So yeah, to their credit, they are looking into it.
So that's the thing. So a lot of you out there who's trying to understand policy, this is the aspect about implementation and transition. What they should actually do is they should do a trial of, say, a particular area like Subang or PJ, and then focus on that. But they, at the same time, they must do a semi-rural area and a rural area also. So then you get a profile of common or different complaints about the system. Of course, when you go to rural area, people can't use card. That's not likely to happen, right? Semi-rural maybe, but any restriction on how they use that money can be problematic, because then you have to give them teaching. They have to teach the recipient how to shift money that they set aside for groceries into the card system, therefore enabling them to use actual money from other source to pay rental. So it's not good enough just to switch to the card, but also you have to give them financial training, or at least basic budget training. Lastly, every implementation we look at, and this is one that is kind of serious, is to ensure that the vendor of these cards won this through an open tender. How much margins are they making? What was the best? Is this the best system? Was this negotiated? All this kind of thing is important to us, because this is public money. And ultimately, if they were doing A, right, which is to bank in money to you all, to the poor people, it may take 3 officers to do this job. When they switch to the card system, will productivity increase, and will operational costs also decrease? And then you can move these 3 officers who will be redundant into different sectors to try to help JKM improve other things. So all this needs consideration. Okay, interesting hot topic, but obviously you're interested in women issue and community issues. So
welfare, yes.
Welfare, where you're coming from. Okay, second hot topic. Who wants to go? Sri, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Mine is just more in the general, well, not really general, but since Omicron wave is, whoosh, hitting us, and I don't think our economy can afford another lockdown. So I don't know. I was thinking, what would be the best ways for workplaces? How could they actually incorporate, let's say, better SOPs lah? Because I think by March, I think it is suggested that it will hit 22,000. Like, let's say for our office, we have to test like 3 days, between 3 days, Mondays and every Thursdays. So I don't know what guys, Bala, Dashni, what do you guys think? Like, what could there be other better SOPs workplaces can do in general? Or boys, if you want to chime in too, you can.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a discussion about Omicron because it is a hot topic, right?
Yeah.
Prior to this, of
So-
course, I gave a warning to a lot of people to be careful, but you know, we can only hope that people adhere to something. But one thing is clear lah. If you don't sanitize, if you don't social distance, the very bare minimum you should do is make sure you wear your mask properly. Because I think wearing mask is the most essential protection that you can do, other than vaccination or that kind of thing, right? And the science on Omicron, which we highlighted as early as December last year, is still developing, yeah. But we know it's milder and but more infectious. And now last week there was a discovery of BA2, the subvariant of Omicron, which even spreads even faster. Yeah. So the problem about Omicron spreading fast is not that it puts more people into hospital. It will put more people into hospital if it goes exponential, right? So what we need to do is we have to manage the hospitalization rate. I think we've gone beyond options of closing down the economy for sure. Yeah, we can't do that anymore. The only thing that we may have to close is primary school, because primary school students are not vaccinated. Not yet lah. We just started vaccinating the young, right? But the vaccination may take 2 months, a month or 2 months. But whatever it is, I'm going to the National Recovery Council tomorrow, and that's where I get a detailed briefing on the Omicron thing. The projection I've seen earlier and the one that we calculated was somewhere like 30,000 cases by end of March. So we're about, as I always say, we're about 1 to 2 months behind UK. Yeah. So whatever we saw happening in UK in Christmas time and the New Year's Eve is going to hit us in the same way also. So we have to continuously monitor the hospitalization rate. That is the most important, because we can't have the hospitalization rate goes so high that collapses our ability to maintain public health. Yeah. You guys want to chime in on SOPs and stuff like that? Anybody?
Allah, Darshini, the floor is yours.
Yeah, Bala's been dying to say something today.
You can just see he's not ready to move already. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say that, yeah, I agree with you about the whole mask thing. Because I do feel that a lot of people, there's this thing, the pandemic fatigue, right? People are just so tired of the SOPs that we see very obviously people just putting down a mask at any convenience. The fact that they've used their mask the whole time, but as they start talking, they pull the mask down. It's very counterproductive. Like, the whole purpose of you wearing the mask is so that when you talk, you don't, spread the virus. So I think it has to come back to the point where we need to be alert that this SOPs, the most simple thing, the mask wearing is not just to avoid a fine, but it is to protect each other. I think we've come to a point where we're just doing it because it's a rule and it's something that's imposed. But we have to come to a realization that it actually protects us. And that's one thing I would say. I completely agree that masking is very important. Even if you are in close proximity to the person, if you wear a mask, it greatly reduces the risk of getting the virus as well. Darshini?
Yeah, I totally agree again about the masks. There's nothing more that I want to add about that. I was just getting like flashbacks to all those people who start talking and then they pull down their masks, and I'm just like, no, please put it back. But I also do think that maybe we could talk a bit about boosters and how we really are seeing the efficacy of the vaccine and boosters during this time. And I really do hope that it's giving people some level of reassurance, seeing low hospitalization or relatively low hospitalization to show that, yeah, the vaccines are working. That's the reason why people are able to recover cases. Even though they're high, the severe cases aren't there. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll move on to the next topic, but I just want to say one thing about SOP, which is what Serene raises now. In our office, our SOP is every Monday, every officer gets a test, including myself. Yeah. And then every Thursday as well. We still have our shield. We still do the whole My Sejahtera thing and all that. It's just that if you have a work environment, you should have 2 tests a week during the workday. And Monday, Thursday works for us because if, say, unfortunately on Monday evening you met someone and you had casual contact and somehow you were infected, your infectivity really starts 3 or 4 days later. Yeah, after that. It's between 3 to 5 days. So if you're tested on Monday and you clear that, and then you had casual contact or close contact on Monday night, we should be able to catch it again on Thursday when you're retested in the office. And that's how a simple process like this can save and create a safer environment for your office where people need to work, side by side. And we're in the community, we're the front, so we do have people walk in and stuff like that. Yeah. So do implement that. Look, the test kits are now 5 ringgit. Some of them are 6, some of them are 8. If you go to Mr. DIY, I'm not promoting them. It's just that I'm quite a careful shopper. They have the cheapest rate, which is $4.80. Yeah. So, you can afford to spend $10 on your workers once a week, just for the safety of all. Because if you have an outbreak, you have to shut your office. Think about the cost on that. Yeah. So it's only the right thing to do as employers. Okay. Let's move on to the last hot topic, Bala.
Yeah, and I would assume this is the hottest topic for the week, at least.
Okay.
I mean, it probably will be for the next month. But this is about Azam Baki, the MSCC chief that has been exposed to be having quite a lot of shares. Many assume that is beyond what he should be having. After being exposed for having a lot of shares, he publicly claimed that those shares belong to his brother, who used his account to purchase the shares. First and foremost, that's illegal. You're not supposed to be a proxy for anyone to purchase shares. That's the first problem. But after that, he was called by the Securities Commission and he was investigated, interviewed. And the Securities Commission actually cleared him of all wrongdoing. So that would eventually claim that you will claim that his shares belong to him because he didn't misuse his account in that sense. So I guess all this begs a few questions. So first question is, if there's no wrongdoing, if the Securities Commission since the Securities Commission have cleared him of the wrongdoing, does this mean that shares are his? That's one question. So if it is his, then did he then make a false claim saying that it belongs to his brother? That is one question. Second question is also that if the shares are his, doesn't he have a lot more shares than he's supposed to have? Didn't he violate the Civil Servants Code by exceeding a certain amount? So these are the whole story just doesn't make sense for now. Just wanted to know what do you guys think is actually happening? Maybe you can explain as well.
Yeah, let me explain, because we have at the start of this thing, to be very fair, we were not looking into this matter so much, even though I am supposed to be advising the leader of the opposition on economics and business issue, and this is definitely a corporate matter. I looked at it and I said, look, there are other MPs pushing this kind of issue, but it came a bit technical, and that's why we stepped in and we started giving our comments, right? So on this issue, we are waiting for Securities Commission to give an answer. And I did make a press statement that the Select Committee on Finance and Economy, which is the one I am in, will be able to summon Securities Commission to come and testify. How did they come to this conclusion when Azam Baki publicly told the world that he was trading shares for his brother as a nominee, right? So if Securities Commission clears him of being a nominee, that means he had lied to the public. There's only one clear answer to this. So we wanted the Securities Commission to say something, to tell the world what did they do, what was the investigation like, right? Now, this matter is actually not under my committee on economics and finance. It's really under this special select committee called agencies under the Prime Minister Department, which MACC falls under that. Yeah, but the lawyers for Azam Baki put in a letter, the legal letter, to stop the proceeding, saying that, for whatever excuses he has, that the committee cannot summon him to explain the share issue. That's where we stepped in and say, we can summon Securities Commission. Now, we're now at an impasse. Just before Chinese New Year, that statement was made. And then since then, my committee has written to the Minister of Finance to ask for their view on this, and they have given a reply. I've not seen the reply, but they've given a reply. The reply seems to indicate that the Securities Commission has explained themselves according to the Ministry of Finance to their satisfaction. Therefore, there is no requirement for us to call the Securities Commission to testify. Yeah. And we've been struggling and running around trying to understand what this means, even though we haven't looked at the document yet. Yeah. So tomorrow I'm going to Putrajaya. I'll be having a National Recovery Council meeting, and I hope to meet Tengku Zafro there, and I want to raise the issue with him to get clarification. Because if they are against the idea of summoning Securities Commission, what we need to do next, and this is Understanding Order 83, subsection 4, we have to file a motion to get it debated in Parliament. And Parliament sits only in 28th of February. And that's going to open another battlefront altogether. Today is 7th. You have to wait another 21 days to even have a chance to see whether this motion will be brought up or not. Then we got to fight with the Speaker as well. So I hope that all these future entanglements, I wouldn't say fights, entanglements with the Ministry of Finance and also the Speaker on whether our motion will be heard, and also all the members of Parliament have a right to decide and vote on this, whether all this can be cut short if the Ministry of Finance actually agree and allow us to interview the Securities Commission. If not, we may see this motion being debated in March. We may not even see it being even tabled at all. And that would then impair the powers and the hopes and the scope of powers of all select committees, not just my select committee, but all the select committees in Malaysia. Yeah, I don't need to blow into a big constitutional crisis all over this issue of Azam Baki telling the world he was a nominee, and then the Securities Commission clearing him and saying he wasn't a nominee. All for one person's truth or lie, I don't know. It remains to be seen, right? That somehow this is going to blow up into a constitutional issue about parliamentary powers, and that if you're summoned by the select committee, you can use the legal system to block Parliament, which Parliament is supposed to be the most important institution in Malaysia to protect democracy. Yeah. So I hope we don't have to go down that line. I will go and see Zafro. I'm seeing him anyway, so this will be a side issue between me and him, and I will implore him to use his common sense and to avoid a confrontation of a constitutional nature in the coming weeks. Yeah. Okay, those are my views. I know it's a bit harsh for those who don't follow constitutional law or the standing orders of Parliament. It may be a bit difficult to understand, but I think what I'm saying is, I hope it's not necessary that we will be having a major conflict on this issue, and that this can be resolved properly. Because if ultimately Azam Baki did lie to the public, he was a nominee, then it's up to the government to question him and say, did you break any civil service code, like Bala said, right? And what's the punishment for that? Yeah. Can Azam Baki not just apologize to the people that he lied or misled the people, right? I mean, this issue has come to an end. Yeah. To see so many institutions in Malaysia supposed to be independent, the Speaker, the Attorney General, Yeah, the parliament itself, the structure of parliament, Securities Commission, all taking a very strange position. Why are they all dragging themselves down the mud for this one person? I don't understand. I hope I'm wrong. That's what I'm saying. Okay, who wants to add to this? Anyone else? Dashini? Surin?
No, I'm good,
No?
boss. I think, like you said, let's just hope that MOF comes to their senses and don't have to go
Yeah. I
through
mean,
that
I
road.
will talk to them. I mean, sometimes
Mhm.
you have to you talk first. If it doesn't work, then you go and file a petition.
Mm.
Bullshit. Emotion. Right? Get the system moving. They still can
Yeah,
negotiate after that, right?
correct.
But it's better that we try the soft approach first before we take the sledgehammer and hammer everything. Because
Correct.
once we take the sledgehammer, there'll be a lot of casualties along the side. Yeah. To me, it's gone beyond this concept. I don't know anymore who's on whose side, but to see institutions falling themselves all over the place to defend a lie, which is quite apparent now, it's just too much. Yeah, it's not really about that few 100,000 shares and stuff like that. It's not something a bit more bigger. What is democracy? What is accountability? What is transparency in our agencies? That's the even bigger issue. If Securities Commission is seen to be taking sides, what's the impact on the stock market in Malaysia or the capital markets in Malaysia? Have they not considered the bigger implication on this, right?
Yeah.
So okay lah, let's not go too far on this lah. Let's see how it happens. So for those who are really interested in this, as I said, I didn't start this quarrel with Azam Baki issue. It didn't look like a big issue for me, but since it became quite technical and that's got implications on Securities Commission, on Bursa Malaysia, on basic concept of corruption and abuses of power, then we're now in the fight. And once you get in the fight, our style is we never back down until we finish it. Yeah. Okay. That's the hot topic, I suppose. It's already 9:30. Now let's try to do at least 3 questions from the public, if there's any. Are there any questions this week?
There are. So you want to move on to question time?
Yeah, let's move on to question time quickly. Yeah. Okay, let's do the questions.
Dashini?
Yes. I can pick one. I think we have one from Jeffrey Koo. He says it's quite a challenging question. Will RHB, Maybank and CIMB close shop as a result of Genting closing shop in Hong Kong? Thank you.
Okay, Jeffrey, definitely not. I mean, the banks, RHB, Maybank, CIMB. Maybank is the biggest one of the block. CIMB is second. I think RHB is the smaller of the 3 banks. Their exposure is 2.5 billion combined. I don't have the breakdown of all of them, but even RHB, which is the smallest bank, if they suffered all of it 100%, they wouldn't suffer 2.5 billion loss. They could be suffering somewhere like 400 million or something like that, or thereabouts. That will not sink the bank. The banks do have reserve. This is not something that will hurt the bank financially to such an extent where it requires intervention from Bank Negara. Okay, so don't believe the rumors out there. This is not a killer of the bank. Okay, it is a problem in the sense that these banks, the shareholders of these banks, are the Malaysian government and EPF. EPF is our money, Jeffrey, is your money, my money. Dashini, Serene and Bala's money also. So when they invest in banks, they expect banks to be more prudent in their lending, not to give out unsecured loans. If they give unsecured loans, it should be short term, and it also should have high interest rate. But these loans started as far as I know, I may be wrong, but almost a decade ago. Yeah. So why did they remain unsecured for so long? And ultimately, the losses for the banks equates to losses for shareholders, and we, the people, the government of Malaysia works for us, and EPF is our money. That equates to losses to our investment as well. That's why it's an issue. Yeah. As for Genting Hong Kong closing shop, I mean, it brought the reputation of Malaysia down. Yeah. I mean, yesterday they seized a cruise in, I think, Mexico, or Mexico or US, I can't remember. This kind of thing doesn't give a good reputation to the nation as a whole. And I'm sure it has some impact on the reputation of Genting Group as a whole also. Okay, next question.
Okay, we have another one from Tan Tian Su. So he says, "Hi YB Wong, what do you think of PKR using their own logo instead of the PH logo in the Johor election? Do you think the AP and Amanah will withdraw from, I think he means PH, if they lose badly in Johor?" So I think you didn't have a chance to talk about this yet, boss. I mean on live, so yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So the decision to use the PKR logo was a PH decision. Yeah. So it's not like PKR decided to announce and then it was the end of it. There was a meeting. The meeting lasted 3 hours. Yeah. So they decided, and this was the position of the PH. Whether it will break PH or not, I don't think so. I mean, this is a relatively small issue. It's to do with the fact that the PH logo matter has always been decided by the group. In Sarawak, they decided not to contest under PH logo. Yeah, everybody used their own logo. In the Sabah election, our PH partners, I'm from PKR of course, DAP and Amanah decided to use Warisan logo. Warisan is not even part of PH. You didn't see Pakatan, PKR complaining, threatening to pull out of PH. Yeah, a logo is a strategic move. Yeah, it's about branding. What do people think of the PH logo? The PH logo for many PKR members is linked to Dr. Mahathir's time as the Prime Minister of PH. I mean, it's very clear that all the pro-Mahathir PKR people are now with the Sheraton Move people. So, you have to understand also, Tan, it's not as simple as that. Yeah, you want to rally your troops to fight for you, you fly the flag that insults your own soldiers. It's not clever, lah. Yeah, to say that this is a deal breaker, I don't think so. I mean, you can ask DAP and Amanah whether they want to break. If they want to break, they wouldn't have agreed in the first place to allow PKR to use the logo in Johor. Yeah, and this is also a deep question about branding, identity, and it's also about whether people understand what is Pakatan Harapan logo or not. Yeah, okay. So it's a bit more deeper than that. So I don't think this is a core issue. There might be some members in Pakatan Harapan that wants to see the end of PH. I mean, who knows who these people are, what their agenda are. So they will raise those issues from time to time, right? But we have weathered worse, like in the case of the Warisan logo being used, and now that Warisan has suggested interest to contest in the peninsula area, some of our PH members are now also like, oh, we're no longer pro Warisan anymore. So that's politics for you, right? I'm not a real politician. I'm a technocrat, so I just speak what I think. Yeah. So that decision was a joint decision. Those who are unhappy about it have their own agenda. But please, let's not all be hypocrites. Look at the history of the usage of logo. Then you will understand what is the core issue really about. It's not winning the election. If you think that I use a simple analogy like playing football. If you believe that, wearing an Adidas boot would be better than wearing a Nike boot, then you go and wear the Adidas boot to win. So PKR has decided on their own analysis that using the PKR logo is better for the troops' morale and better given the chances for us to win because the logo is more identifiable, than the PH logo. And PH logo is linked to Mahathir. So there are internal reasons for this. And we consulted DAP and Amanah, and they agreed. They issued a joint statement. They have grouses, so be it, but please behave consistently. Yeah, okay? There's no such thing. We decided every election use the PH logo. There's no such thing. It happened in Sabah. They used their own Warisan logo. It happened recently in the Sarawak election. Everybody used their own logo because they are strategic decision of their own. Okay, next question.
Okay, so there are quite a lot of questions coming in regarding the PRN Johor. So we'll take another one regarding PRN. So Johari asks, how do we see PRN Johor unfolding?
Okay, PRN Johor is going to be very difficult, to be fair, right? Mm-hmm. Johor, as you know, is the heartland of UMNO. UMNO lost in 2018. Yeah. Now UMNO is coming back. They are likely to win a few more seats. Okay. There's no issue. I mean, everybody knows. You can see the pattern. I'm not trying to sugarcoat this. You saw what happened in Malacca. You saw what happened in Sarawak. The trend, is quite clear. It's more difficult for Pakatan Harapan to make any inroads. Now, Muda is going to try to contest a few seats there. We'll see how they perform. Of course, they're going to be aligned to Pakatan Harapan. So MUDA plus Pakatan Harapan, whether that's going to produce any positive results, we don't know. So PRN Johor will be seen as a testing ground. Yeah, as a testing ground. It's also likely that the outcome of it may decide when the next election may happen. So if the government, the side of Barisan Nasional wins big, they may be pushing for a snap election as early as July, I would say so. Yeah, but then all this is also highly dependent on development in Omicron issue. Yeah, with Omicron now rising and possibly hitting 30,000, 20 to 30,000 per day during the election in Johor, which is expected in March. We don't know what the SOP will be like, whether you're allowed to campaign or not, and that would have an impact on people's turnout and also the mood of the election itself. Yeah. So we've seen in Malacca, when you have very strict SOP, people actually don't campaign, and numbers have dropped also. Yeah, in terms of voter participation. So Johari susah nak cakap lah. Yeah, there are too many permutation, but I think it's important for us to get a gauge on how powerful the Barisan Nasional are, and also important for us, how can MUDA become an ally in the fight against the Barisan Nasional and Perikatan Nasional. And lastly, whether Bersatu can even survive anything or not in this particular election. We're all worried lah. Yeah. So hard to say, plus Omicron. So memang susah lah, but these are the moving parts if you are trying to analyze what will happen in PRN Johor. Okay, next. I can't hear you, Dashini.
Am I back? Okay. Yeah, we have one more question. It's kind of related to what you just spoke about, so maybe we can just end on this. And it's from Kenneth, and he wants to know what the future of MUDA in PRN Johor is. So maybe you can just end on that.
Well, MUDA has one member of parliament and one politician, that is Syed Siddiq, and Syed Siddiq is from Johor, right? So he will be going out to try to prove that he can win, right? So and it's important for Pakatan Harapan, which is in talks with him. They're just trying to finalize. I think it's clear that they're all working together. It's just how many seats should MUDA try to contest in. Yeah. So this will be an important thing for MUDA to show that they at least can win substantially the votes of the youth. Whether they can win the middle class, the middle age, or the older people remains to be seen. So for us who are very interested in data and results, it'll be interesting for us to look at the outcome, and then we can do the computation and try to project what may happen in GE 15. Okay, so Kenneth, that's the answer. The future is a testing ground for MUDA, and we wish them the best of luck, of course. Yeah. Any more questions?
I think that's about it, boss. I don't know if I missed anything. Yeah, it looks like that's about it. Yep.
So 9:40. Yeah, so do give us your feedback on this new model. Do you want to see more of us interviewing local issue? But next week, we'll definitely bring in a youth leader to talk about youth issue. Yeah, Dashini, you have a few candidates, right? We haven't firmed up yet, isn't it?
Yes, we'd like to keep that a surprise as well. But if anyone has any suggestions, you can always leave it in the comments. You can just let us know if you'd like to see anyone, and we'll try our best to make that happen.
And we're going to give you advance notice that we will have to skip one Monday night chat because I will be going to Johor on that particular Monday for a meeting for Pakatan Harapan. So I think that's about 2 weeks from now. So next week we should be still on, but the following week we'll be offline again. Yeah. Okay. With that, thank you so much, guys. Again, I want to thank my special guest star, Jen, Singham, and unfortunately, Fias and his very poor connection. It's just a shame, right? Yeah. Wishing you all the very, very best for this working week, and happy Chinese New Year to everybody. Bye.